Welcome, sports fans, to the latest S&M production of the Sunday Night Sports Nerd Show. It is the most absurd 90 minutes of anything goes, smack talk, and a whole lot more. Every Sunday night, the Sports Nerd joins forces with three charismatic co-hosts who are a select group of sports nerds with attitude, better known in Nerd Nation as the Rampage. We are four of the most loudmouth, smack-talking nerds around, coming at you with some sick rips and rants, which may be just enough to make you pee your pants. So listen up, Nerd Nation. Let's rise and welcome the legend himself. He is the founder, he is the host, and he is the star of the Sports Nerd Show. Coming to you live, straight out of Lakeland, Florida, Scott, the Sports Nerd.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Sports Nerds. I am Scott Wright. I am the Sports Nerd coming to you live, as Elliot mentioned, from Lakeland, Florida. Where it's a brisk 55 degrees today, which is kind of cold for us.
It's above freezing here, so that's a win.
Yeah. And as usual, we have the usual suspects as my co-host, Elliot Big E Lamba, coming to you from Bradenton, Florida. And John G. Olson out in the great white north of Canada.
Frozen tundra.
The frozen tundra of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Is that right, John?
Southeast of Edmonton.
East of Edmonton, yes. Out in the middle of nowhere.
An hour from Edmonton.
Yeah,
close
and Ken and
In other words, somewhere on the Canadian map.
Somewhere, yes. Just throw a dart and you'll probably not hit it. Because before we went on the air, I gotta before we introduce Ken, we gotta make fun of the sports nerd a little bit here.
That's what we do around here.
I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and Buffalo obviously got hit with a snowstorm. I'm sure we'll talk about it this week. But this is Scott, because everyone in the States thinks Canada, I guess, is this tiny little place. Scott's like, so how's the weather up there, dude? Did you get hit like the guys in Buffalo? I'm like, dude, I'm 2,500 miles from Buffalo. What do you mean did I get hit? Did you do geography in
Yes, I did.
high school?
And yes, the host of this show is an idiot, and it's never been in doubt.
I'm blown away. I love it.
John, he's part of this faction that believes that it snows in Canada 365 days a year. So,
dude, if I told you there was palm trees in Canada, would you believe me?
No.
There is.
That's like
Vancouver.
That's like saying it's raining in Seattle. How's the weather in Florida?
Right.
And
the last of our group, of course, Mr. Ken Koslow, coming to us from
somewhere in Texas.
No, near Dallas.
Arlington,
Texas.
Actually, you can't see me, but I'm actually hovering above in the Goodyear blimp. So
yes, right. Okay.
Perfect.
Where he tells me it's 46 degrees and sleet in Arlington. So
start raining.
Yes. So, but we are the sports nerds, and we, of course, every Sunday night we're talking mostly NFL football because it's the game we love the most. I do want to get a shout out. The World Cup did start today. Go U.S. The World Cup did start in Qatar today, or Qatar, however you want to pronounce the damn country name.
Qatar.
Qatar.
So, and Ecuador beats the host country with the first match of the day.
Not a shock. Not a shock at all.
But shout out to those that follow and enjoy that.
Bro, first time in 36 years, my country's there. So
yes, congrats! Shout out to Canada for making the World Cup.
My buddy, actually, my best man at my wedding, him and his three sons they went out to watch the games. So they're
really
out there
in Qatar.
Yep.
Where they're staying because there's not any hotel rooms around.
Well, I'm sure they got it all, but I hope they got that sorted out.
I hope so too. This is going to be a joke as far as the host country is concerned, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
it started. So
they've already banned alcoholic beverage sales, so
First they banned it, then they brought it back, then they banned it again. So
Yep.
Oh, well.
Anyway, we did have a football week this week. Let's go ahead and get the bad news out first, and talk about Buffalo and Cleveland.
How's that bad news?
It's bad news for me.
No, that's regular news.
Regular news, yeah, regular news. It's exactly. Same old, as I told Elliot in the pre-show. So there was a snowmageddon, I like to call it, in Buffalo.
Not Edmonton.
6 to 7 feet of snow, if not more.
77 inches, sir.
Yes, 77
Actually,
inches.
it went over 80.
That was almost 7 feet of snow that fell on Orchard Park this from Friday to Saturday. Where the NFL and its mighty wisdom moved the game to Detroit. The Lions accommodated both teams since they were playing away today against the Giants. And it was, it was pretty much the same old. Our defense is terrible. Special teams are non-existent. And I got to hand it to our defense. We did manage to keep you guys out of the end zone multiple times, and just managed to get just for field goals. Basically, I mean, we stiffened up towards the end in the red zone and kept you guys to field goals, but still we couldn't get anything after the first couple drives. We couldn't get anything done. And then we scored twice in the fourth quarter, which were meaningless touchdowns. And we missed a field goal. I think we missed an extra point too, as a matter of fact, during that time.
Well, yeah, we blocked a field goal.
Yeah, you blocked it. And I don't know. I mean, the Browns are 3-7. They've got one more game against, ironically, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next Sunday in Cleveland.
You know what the play of the game of that game was?
No.
They showed it. They studied it. And they called it.
What?
When Stephon Diggs pulled Sean McDermott aside and say, "Yo, man, why am I not?"
Yes.
Well,
the talk, because they called it on red zone. Red zone, they called it the talk.
This is the narrative is that this guy is a diva.
The talk is the play of the game.
What happened was apparently, according to the beat reporters, McDermott went up to Steph and said, "Steph, I need you to get everyone hyped up. I need you to talk to them. I need you to calm them down. I need you to be a leader." And what did he do? He did it. So the narrative is anytime Stephon looks a little pissed off, it's always a diva. It's like, no, he's
okay. Narrative, schmarative, okay?
Before the talk, he had 0 target.
He didn't have not even one target.
Yeah, but this is the thing. But Steph doesn't care about that.
Really is irrelevant at this point because
Steph
the way the media has spun it is that Stephon Diggs made it clear that he needed. What happened right after that? A touchdown.
Yes.
3 more receptions.
Yes.
He became Stephon Diggs again.
Yes.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
I'm just going with the report.
Let America believe what let the world believe what it believes. I thought it was great. I thought it was great when they said that the talk was the play of the game, because all of a sudden things just changed on a dime at that point.
Dude, listen, our entire week practices was just a mess. Like we didn't
practice Friday.
But you know what?
Even throughout the week, we didn't know where we were going.
Kudos to the Buffalo Bills fans who went out there and actually helped dig players out of their homes. And
Bills Mafia is the best.
Airport and then 56,000 tickets.
Yeah,
in 3 hours. Yeah.
I think there was about
fan base in football.
I think about 45,000 of it were Bills fans, but that's okay.
They said it was like 70-30. That's what they were saying the split was, which is crazy because Cleveland is closer, and Cleveland didn't get hit with the snow.
You know what? Who the hell wants to travel to go see Cleveland?
Brown
fans.
Brown fans are crazy.
No, not even Browns fans.
Look, this is the thing. For me, it was like that first, like you were saying, Scott, like the first set, you're like, oh, it's early. I think that Buffalo was so out of character because they were so discombobulated from the past 72 hours. They were out of sync. And it took them to the second quarter, late in the second quarter, when the talk happened. And like this is what I want to highlight. Like everyone has been pooping on Josh for the past couple of weeks. Rightfully so.
He had a great game today.
He did. He had a fantastic game. I think he had one of his better games. This is why, not stats wise. He protected the ball. He never did anything stupid. He took what the defense gave him. He never was even close to turning it over. And that's what he needed, because it wasn't sugar high Josh. It was they took the field goals. If it was last week, they were trying to push it. Josh on fourth was always trying to push it.
It's been
Josh,
known
I think, played perfect.
It's been known that if you want to right your ship, you look for the Cleveland Browns on your schedule.
That happens too. Like they made our run game appear, which it hasn't been there all year. And now,
John, you were touting your running game on Twitter today. It's not your running game; it's the Browns' run defense that gave you that running game today.
I couldn't believe it, man. They made James Cook look like his brother.
Yes, I mean
it was
it's the Browns.
But let's give it up to Devin.
Run defense.
Man, come on.
Devin's great. He's on my fantasy team. I love Devin. I think he's RB1.
Devin did it for me today, and I tell you what, he did it last week for a half.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, so
it's when they overcomplicate. They try to be too pretty. When it was check down Josh today, he took what the defense gave him. They like that pass to Steph in the end zone. Like, oh my gosh, how open can you be?
Like him open? I don't understand. I mean,
you professed one time that the Buffalo Bills go as far as Dawson Knox goes.
Absolutely.
You know
and Dawson had a record high catch.
Go further as far as their running game goes. Okay.
Because it's not all on Josh.
Balanced itself with pass and run, they'd probably be more unstoppable than they already are.
Yes. And maybe this week is when they clued in that they don't need to have Josh bombing it to Steph 70 yards every second play.
They don't.
That being said, even though Gabe caught some passes and got some numbers, something going on between his ears. He's dropping.
It doesn't look right.
Diggs doesn't look right at all. So it is what it is. I'm just glad we got the win.
Well, I just think probably because they're used to seeing Josh throw the ball all over the place, that they're not, I'm saying that they don't have that same vibe, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like they're getting a chance to not be so dependent upon. Now sometimes, that messes with people's heads. Like you said, with the practicing this week, Buffalo came out kind of slow because they weren't used to a week of such turmoil, so to speak.
Yeah, and I'm going to make some comments here regarding after the game. Myles Garrett was very vocal after the game, and this was my thought too. And he, he's a leader on the team, so he says it has been a lack of importance as far as getting takeaways. It has been a lack of importance when we go out there and practice. It has to be more important to us if we want to force those takeaways in the game. We have goals that we set in practice, and we are not reaching them. So he's questioning the effort that his teammates are making during practice.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude, when everybody else was on the field after the game saying hello and embracing and shaking hands, this guy was on the bench by himself, sitting there. He was pissed off. He's tired, and he's tired of the talent that they have on this team, which they have a lot of talent. Okay? They just can't get it together and play a complete game. They're wasting the prime years of the talent that they have on this team by not playing a full game, and it's pissing him off. And when you get the man pissed off, you don't want to be around him.
You got talent and you ain't working it right.
That's coaching too. That's coaching too. Yes,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a defense.
Dude, you made our run defense look amazing. Like, what did Chubb have? 18 yards?
Like 19 yards. Yeah.
Nick Chubb. Like, couldn't believe it. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
our defense
secondary
would stop the run, and our play calling as far as the running game is concerned. I mean, they're still getting too cute sometimes in the red zone, and it just pisses me off. You don't want to.
Well, you guys had 2 drops, really bad drops in the first half there.
Well, you know what? And there was 2 passes that Jacoby 3 back-to-back that should have been touchdowns that would be better to drop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That back-to-back, that first quarter. Yeah.
Never fear, Scott. Deshaun's on the way.
Yeah, Deshaun's coming, buddy. Don't worry. Dude, it's rough, man. And you guys don't have your draft picks, right? They're going to Houston, aren't they?
Correct. We have 8 draft picks total next year, none in the first round.
Well, that's
the interior defensive line is a shambles. They can't stop the run. Yes, Joe Woods. I blame it on Joe Woods. To be honest, Brett, Joe Woods is going to be the fall guy.
The entire coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they stop game planning after the first series of the game because they come out of the chute pretty well, and then they fall apart going down. Going as the game progresses. So I mean,
and it goes to shit at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
To the shit.
Yeah, right now our biggest problem is our defense, and that falls on Joe Woods. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think Joe Woods is gone after the season. I also think our special teams coordinator is gone after the season.
Well, wait a second. Can you really blame a defense for not performing up to a certain level when the offense can't stay on the field? When the offense can't keep the defense on the sideline, that means that the defense is spending way too much time on the field.
But the defense has historically this season has been the Achilles heel of this team. We're allowing big plays. We're allowing running. We can't stop the run. Okay, the defense is not getting off the field either.
Right, Elliot. But we were talking about this before. You claim that Cleveland had one of the best defenses in the league. However,
on paper,
that's what we kept. John, didn't we mention on paper means shit?
Yeah, and then I also mentioned prior to the season, on paper, don't tell me shit. Let's see what you can do on the field. Well, they've shown me what they can do on the field. They haven't done shit on the field this year.
It was some pretty dirty plays too by the Browns.
Well, there was one by I saw that, the one that Joe where he smacked,
and then definitely wasting that 1-2 punch of Hunt and Chubb.
Where he smacked Josh's arm going out of bounds, and
Josh didn't even have the ball in that hand, and that was his throwing arm.
Yeah, I know.
And then those pass plays left, right, and center, and then we get some ticky tack call against that. Like what kills me, and this is the problem, I think, not just Bills and Browns today, but overall, the NFL officiating is just so pathetic. It's like pathetic is like giving it credit. Right. It's so like one time they don't call anything, then there's no consistency at all.
John,
absolutely.
All officiating and all sports is that way. Seriously.
It's been that way for at least 5 years.
Like, is it time to just get the VAR like they do in soccer? Like, just call it a day?
God, then you would have 4-hour games.
Yeah, you would for sure. Yeah. I don't get it, man. It was anyways, doesn't matter.
You know what? It wasn't all bad for Cleveland fans today because Baker Mayfield had another shitty performance.
Dude, I don't know anything. All I know is that the Jets lost in epic fashion. That's all I know.
Oh my God.
Now now that you mentioned that, I remember before I said that there was a couple things I wanted to
yes, go ahead, Elliot.
Good. I don't want to cheer for the Patriots, but I'm kind of a little happy they won that.
I think the message that I tried to put out last week, okay, after the Jets, everybody was touting the Jets after they beat the Bills, this, that, and the other. Look, as I said last week, and I will say this week, and I will say next week, and for every week to come, as long as the Jets have Zach Wilson at quarterback, the team will go nowhere.
Dude.
How many teams have you ever seen that with a minute left in the game, 3 timeouts in a tie game, they run the ball twice, call their timeouts, and then on the 3rd down play, they don't do much better. Zach Wilson has – what do you have? Less completions than he had or there was a stat. Less completions than he had something. It was just an upside-down stat that they showed.
Yeah,
Okay, Zach Wilson is not an NFL quarterback. Okay, period.
Did you hear his post game?
Huh?
Did you hear his post game?
No.
Yes.
Dude, so he was asked by the New York media, did you leave your defense out to dry? He's like, no.
Whatever.
Josh.
They had 103 yards.
Like,
they had 103 yards of offense in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So bad. And like, can you see a team rallying around a guy that doesn't take ownership? Like,
yeah, he pretty much said he hadn't, he didn't just, he
wasn't his fault.
He doesn't owe the defense an apology. He didn't hold him back.
They were playing with a chance to win. All right, if you have any other quarterback worth his salt back there with 3 timeouts, okay, and all you need is a field goal to win.
You need a field goal,
touchdown.
Yeah.
But this guy can't even get you in the field goal range.
Right.
Okay. They were playing to go into overtime, and it bit them in the ass after that 86-yard or 84-yard return.
Yep.
Classic Jets football, and it's going to stay that way until they find themselves a legit quarterback, because right now, Zach Wilson ain't no better than Baker Mayfield. He ain't no better than any other terrible quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And the Jets will always be frauds as long as Zach Wilson is there.
Yeah, Zach Wilson was 9 of 22 for a total of 77 yards today.
Yeah.
Can I chime in on something?
Yeah.
Clarkie went to this game today. I was looking forward to it all day.
Oh, did he? Oh, damn. Ouch.
He went to see a 10-3 game.
It was an awful game, by the way.
Yeah,
I didn't watch a second of it, except I saw the highlights for that last second.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. It was a very ugly game offensively. Mac Jones is not much better. Mac Jones had a bad day today too. I mean, he was 23 of 27 for 246, but the stats weren't that great. I mean, I mean, considering the fact there were no offensive touchdowns and it ended on a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown. By the way, the first one of the season, by the way, we're week 11. That was the first punt return for a touchdown this year. That was the only touchdown in the game. And there were no offensive touchdowns. It was 3-3 up to that point until the Patriots ran that punt back for a touchdown with 6 seconds left to go.
Touchdown either. That's a special teams touchdown.
Exactly.
There was 400 yards total offense between the two teams in the entire game.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Jets had about 125 of that.
Do what?
Jets had about 120 of that.
103. You had it. 103. Yeah. They had
103.
At 297.
Yep.
That means they averaged a little over a smidgen over 25 yards a quarter.
Yeah.
Yep. That's about it.
Yeah.
Averaged 2.1 yards per play.
That's terrible. And
Zach Wilson was their leading rusher with 26 yards.
When you are sold on the fact that your quarterback can't get you 40 yards to get you in the field goal range in a tie game, that says a lot. That says a lot, dude.
Trey, we can go ahead send a tweet out saying it's the only way that the Jets are going to be better moving forward is if you put Joe Flacco back in.
At this point?
Yeah,
I guess.
He's a definite improvement over Zach Wilson.
I mean, Joe Flacco, I mean, granted, he's a shade of his former self, but at least he's got a Super Bowl ring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I'd rather take my chances with Mike White, okay?
Ooh.
Mike White's not that much better.
He's awful.
It don't matter. He can't be any worse than Zach Wilson.
He is the interception king, man. So.
No, that would be Nate Peterman, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
John would know firsthand about Nathan Peterman, yes.
I don't know how that guy still got a job in this league, too. That's what's so funny. Anywho.
Oh, by the way, John, did it warm the cockles of your heart to see Kirk Cousins get thrown all around the field after the
big shit. Yeah.
Big chain thing he did after they beat Buffalo? Wasn't that like
That was, that was definitely not a Minnesota win. That was a Buffalo loss
What
last
was it?
week.
Poetic justice?
Oh, dude, yeah, you get it's that 8-1 record is very suspect and
Very suspect.
Yeah, shout out to the Dallas Cowboys today, 40-3 over the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. I know Ken's happy.
The team, the best record in all of football, and we kind of smacked them around today.
Yes.
But you see, that's the best record in all of football is open for discussion.
Defense sacked Kirk Cousins 7 times.
Yep.
Durant Armstrong had 2, and Micah Parsons had 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just like watch out for Philadelphia's 9-1 record. They just barely.
They almost lost today. The Colts had that game. The Colts were leading that game the entire way until the fourth quarter.
They're calling them the frauds, the Philly frauds.
And just for the record, I know we've said this before, Tony Pollard is better than Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes, he is.
Dude, that was a 1-2
Despite the
combination.
fact that Zeke had 2 touchdowns today, it doesn't matter. Tony Pollard's a better back.
He is.
He's always been.
You see his coming out of the backfield of passes.
He's faster.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Right now he is.
Jerry Jones paid a lot of money for Zeke. Zeke ain't taking a back seat.
Right.
Not gonna happen.
Zeke only had 42 yards rushing, so he got those 2 touchdowns in the red zone. He didn't.
Don't matter.
But here's the thing: if they're both going to play the way they played today, then what does it matter who's the better running back?
Correct. Well, to Pollard's credit, he did have 109 yards out of the backfield today in receiving, and had 2 touchdowns, including that great touchdown. I mean, that one touchdown where he was blocking down the sideline, Ken, that was a thing of beauty. It really was.
Total toast.
Yes.
There we go.
If he's even, he's leaving.
That was the stat. First down, Jets offense today. First down 6, completions 9.
They had 10 punts. So they had more punts than completions today.
And 19 rushes for 33 yards.
Yes.
That's awesome. What are you talking about? But if you listen to all the New York fans, that was the team, man. They were the team.
I can only imagine what Green's going to be saying tomorrow morning.
He better not have much to say, that's for sure. Because I tell you what, it was an embarrassing day for football for New York, the New Jersey teams.
The New Jersey teams, yeah. Yeah, even the Giants got humbled by the Lions.
And the Lions went in and beat the Giants.
What's going on, man?
But you know what? There was a thing this morning that said, when was the last time the Giants were in a trap game? Because I know they had to be overlooking the Lions for what they got coming on Thanksgiving Day, which is the Cowboys.
Which is the Cowboys, right?
They were looking back. They were like, oh, we can beat the Lions. That's no problem. We got to worry about the Cowboys. Well, guess what?
They better worry about the Cowboys. We
the
already
Lions, tell you what, 3 in a row, break up the Lions, man.
I mean, Jamal Williams had 3 touchdowns for the Lions today.
Awful Williams. He's leading the league in rushing touchdowns. You know.
Yes,
that,
he is.
Yeah, he's got 12.
Yeah, and one behind is Chubb with 11. So, but Chubb didn't have I don't think Chubb had a touchdown today. So
no, sir, he didn't have a thing.
No, and Cleveland got most of their touchdowns in garbage.
Amari Cooper and People Jones.
Yeah, Cooper had 2.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Cooper had 2 touchdowns.
People
the first one mattered, the second one really didn't.
Yeah, and Nick Chubb had 14 carries for 19 yards.
That's great. That's like 1.2 yards per carry. That's
1.4, but yeah.
1.4. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Why is there smashing of floors?
Well, they held Justin Jefferson to 33 yards because Kirk Cousins couldn't get a second to throw the freaking football.
No, that defensive line was all over Kirk all day today.
Last week, Buffalo lost that game. Minnesota didn't win it.
No, they lost it. You're right.
Well, Minnesota lost it today, that's for sure.
There
was one play where Cousins just got completely swallowed.
I Kirk Cousins had a sprained neck from all the jewelry he had hanging off of him.
Something like that, yeah.
He couldn't throw. His arm was paralyzed. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm going to mute this. I got to make sure the kids are not smashing floors. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Jamal.
What else were you going to be talking about, Elliot?
Huh?
I'm sorry. Do what? One more time.
I was going to say, what else did you were your observations from today? You said you had a couple observations from today.
Oh, I just made them. The fact that Minnesota and Philadelphia, regardless of their records, they're frauds. They're not as dominant as their records show them to be.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you look at their schedule, they won a lot of games, close games against not so great teams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They were fortunate in some games against against good teams.
Hey, Jamal.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just all this talk about Minnesota this and Philadelphia that. Be careful. Be careful.
I want to Brett brings up a good point. Shout out to Cordell Patterson. He had another kick. He had a kick return to a touchdown today for the Falcons. His 9th of his career passing.
2 unknowns.
No. Josh Cribbs.
2 unknowns.
Josh Cribbs was not an unknown. Thank you very much.
What happened to
Ken dropped off.
Well,
I don't know what happened.
Sorry, the kids are going crazy.
Look, it's either got to be with his laptop making all them connect noises.
Yeah.
It's got to be his laptop, dude. It's got to be his laptop. He doesn't want to admit it. I get it. But it's got to be his laptop.
I mean, Elliot, your computer, my computer are relatively new. John's got an Apple, so he says it doesn't
It's
matter.
flawless.
Yeah, it's flawless. So it doesn't matter what year. It could be an Apple. It could be an Apple IIe for all we know, and it's working.
And his microphone that, if we're doing a show every week for a couple of years now, we got microphones. So
mean like the one I got here? Just mean like this one right here?
Yeah,
mine's down here because of course I have to do the intros and outros with it, so I don't. Yeah, I can't have it up here anymore.
Guys, man. Anyways, go Bills.
Go Bills.
What else are we talking about?
Come on, run down some of the games. How about the Raiders winning in overtime?
Yes, Devontae, I love it.
All of 2 passes.
I love it. I'm here for it.
I mean, you know what? He smoked. Was it Samuel he smoked?
No, Surtain.
It was Patrick Surtain the second. Yeah, it was Patrick Surtain. He smoked in that last.
Smoked him.
Last
He put a move on. I told Scott before the show started. Surtain is still searching for his jock strap on the ground somewhere.
Dude, Devontae, it's interesting. I was listening to fantasy radio today, and they're like, do you think that like Green Bay and Oakland, I was going to call them Oakland, Green Bay and Vegas would do a swap back because like both teams have sucked since the trade, but Devontae's playing amazing, even though both teams suck. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, how he got booed off the field the other day.
Dude, that guy needs to retire, man. Just retire. Just call it a career.
It's time to go love.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gotten beat more times this year at home than they probably have in the last couple of years.
They upset the Cowboys the other day.
Any given Sunday, Elliot.
I'm telling you. Who's your daddy, Mike McCarthy?
I mean, Rodgers, he threw 2 touchdowns, which one of them was just beautiful. To Christian Watson. I mean, one of that one in the first quarter to Watson was just a thing of beauty. But he only threw for 227. Aaron Jones only had 40 yards. AJ Dillon only had 13. What is going on with the play calling? And is it the head coach? Is it the lack of talent in the receiving core? I mean,
who?
Green Bay.
Another team that's not utilizing. it's another team like Cleveland that's not utilizing the talent that they have.
There's certain teams that get stuck in these stubborn models. Like for the Bills, it's like for whatever reason the running game is always passe. They don't really focus on it, right? The Packers are notorious for never putting big emphasis on their wide receiving core. Like they, for whatever reason, as long as I can remember, the past decade at least, that's been the problem. They
haven't drafted a number one. They haven't had a number one draft pick. That was
Devontae Adams. So now you have
Devontae Adams was a second round pick.
Right, one of the best, probably the top three, I'd say.
And who was their second round pick this year? Christian Watson, and now he's coming into his own.
He's becoming Aaron Rodgers' go-to guy. Yes.
The new guy there, and Romeo Doubs, he's going to be good too. If he didn't get injured, Lazard, they have some up and comers and some potential good wide receivers. Look, the quarterback is past his prime. He's past his glory days. And it's time for them to. They don't use that 1-2 punch they got like Cleveland.
AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. You mean?
Dillon was supposed to be one of the big main factors in the running game, but yet they won't go away from Aaron Jones and put Aaron Jones out in slot or something. Because Aaron Jones is a much better receiver, I think, than he is a running back. To be honest with you. But they don't utilize what they have the way they should. And that's what holds you back. And if they're going to keep thinking that Aaron Rodgers is the answer for them, they're wrong. Aaron Rodgers' days his best days are well behind him. Well behind him. And that's what greed brings. You know what I mean? It's only like poetic justice that he's going through this because of the greed that forced Devontae Adams to leave town in the first place.
One of the weirdest deals in the offseason I can remember in recent history.
Mm-hmm.
What, sending Devontae Adams to the Raiders?
Yeah.
Well, no, letting him go to the Raiders is what happened. Because if I was Green Bay management, I would have found any way, shape, or form to keep Devontae Adams.
Well, according to them, they tried to work a deal with him, but he didn't take it. So
but Rodgers had him by the short and curlies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where Green Bay failed. That's where they faltered. By giving Aaron Rodgers too much and not giving Devontae Adams enough. Plus, I think Devontae Adams was insulted by Aaron Rodgers to begin with. If you think about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. Although I'm hearing now that the Raiders are probably going to release Derek Carr after this season is over. And if they do that, guess what? Devontae Adams is going to want to leave too. Because the only reason he went to the Raiders was why?
Derek Carr. Because Derek Carr was his teammate in college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Devontae Adams could wind up on the move once again. Just look out for it. Look out for it.
That, despite the fact that teams aren't very good, that Chicago-Atlanta game was pretty entertaining today.
Didn't watch it.
Justin Fields actually injured his left shoulder during that game. But I mean, he showed a lot of grit, a lot of courage. He had a couple of good throws.
He's lacking the clutch gene.
Yeah, he's lacking the clutch gene. You're right. But
the game is on the line. He tends to fold.
Shout out to Atlanta. They're playing above their pay grade at this point.
Well, they're in a weak division.
Huh?
They're in a weak division. First of all,
that's true too. But they've got some really good wins under their belt too. And again, with Cordell Patterson in there, anything can happen with Atlanta because he's that wild card that does it all: running, passing, or running, catching.
Although they haven't been using him as much as they did before with Algier They've been using Algier a lot. Tyler Algier, the rookie.
Right.
They really haven't been utilizing him a whole lot. Plus, you got Mariota running.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that also he's not your sit back quarterback like Matt Ryan.
No, he's not.
You know what I'm saying? So that takes a little bit away from Cordero.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I just think that one of the things that I think keeps Atlanta in the mix is their defense. Their defense is
great. Yeah, defense is really strong. They really are. Carolina's a mess. Thank God.
Carolina is a total mess, yo.
But I mean, if there was ever any proof that Baker is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, he threw 21 of 33 for 196 and had 2 picks today. Baker is Baker. He always will be.
Y'all chose him first in the draft.
Hindsight is 2020. I was, if you remember draft night, I was not happy. But then I ran on his coattails in 2020.
Then you
I
jumped
ran on his coattails in 2020, and then last year was
on the Baker bandwagon.
Yes, I did. Yes, I jumped on the bandwagon. You are correct.
And then when we tried to talk you down from it, you were stubborn as
yes, I'm old and stubborn, so yeah.
You were protecting him. You were coddling him when we told you that don't do it, don't let him go. And when people like Derek were telling you they're not going to sign him, they'd be doing themselves a disservice if they signed him to a max contract.
I'm looking at it now, thinking and glad they didn't do it.
Did you see the house that Deshaun Watson bought in Ohio?
No.
$54 million.
Well, he's got $230 million guaranteed, so why not?
In Ohio. Isn't that like half the economy?
I didn't realize there were houses in Ohio worth that much. Are you kidding me?
$54 million.
Good Lord.
And there's nothing but trees around it.
How many rooms in the house for massages?
I didn't read that far, but this thing is it's
You guys still doing massage jokes with Deshaun?
Yes.
It's majestic, yo. It's a palace, is what it is. A $54 million cat house.
For a guy who's single, doesn't have a wife. What the hell? There you go, Ken. A $54 million cat house. There you go.
Somebody was saying, well, hopefully there's no massage rooms in there.
Right. Good God.
$54 million. Well, if you got it, spend it.
Thank you to the Cincinnati Bengals for beating Pittsburgh today. I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, I thought that was a given. Although the Steelers played them tough for a while.
Yeah, they did. That's a good. I wanted to talk about that, Brett. Thank you for bringing that up. OBJ's in talks with the Cowboys and the Giants after Thanksgiving. After the Giants' performance today and the Cowboys' performance, I think the Cowboys are in the running to be the number one.
He's waiting to see what happens between the two on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes.
I think the winner of that game on Thursday will be
gets the OBJ sweepstakes.
What an idiot. Should sign with Buffalo. Let's go. Come on.
He's seen the six.
But you're not biased at all, John.
And he saw the 7 feet of snow and changed his mind about Buffalo.
Again, I don't know why we didn't build a dome. Just whatever.
I don't see him wanting to spend his winter months in Buffalo.
Even the new stadium, John, doesn't have a dome on it that they're proposing. So
Yeah.
I'll never understand that.
Dome should be they should be a requirement.
Look, Buffalo has got the worst weather in North America. Might not always be the coldest, but because of that lake effect snow and the crosswinds that come across the Niagara Peninsula from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario, it's the worst. I remember being in Toronto and we used to go down shopping in Buffalo, me and my friends, and we'd go, this is before you needed passports and, secret security to get across the border. But we would literally be in Toronto. It would be just like a little light dusting. You'd get to Niagara Falls and Fort Erie in Buffalo, like a foot of snow, 2 feet snow drifts everywhere. It's
showed the night before.
insanity. Like, build the dome, man. Like, I get it. Oh, you want to have the home field advantage? You can't play. That's what's happening. You can't play now. And
well, again, the NFL made the decision because it was more of a.
How are you going to have a home field advantage if they move you away from your home field when it snows?
And that's what happens. Like, this isn't the first time this has happened. Buffalo is really bad weather. Like, really bad.
So what you do is you put a dome on the stadium, and when you play, you set the ACs down to 50 degrees. So that way it's cold inside the stadium.
Yeah. Keep it nice and cool.
You know what I'm saying?
We won that game today because Tyler Bass kicked 6 for 6 field goals. Yep. He didn't even have to stress about it. He's kicking 60-yarders that would have been good for 80.
Yeah.
Because that's an advantage when you have a guy with a leg like Tyler Bass. Like
the announcers are saying he wouldn't have made that in Buffalo today.
No, dude, he wouldn't have got a 25-yard chip shot. It's insanity. It's whatever, man. They're not thinking, because if you've seen the design for the new stadium, they've got like this covering that goes over like 60% of the seats. Think of the wind tunnel that's going to create. Can anyone sit there and go, what happens when there's a big opening on a building and wind cuts across the top of it? Oh, I don't know, a freaking tornado inside the building. These things.
Isn't there an open end on one side? Isn't one of the ends open?
No, it's literally it's the top is open, and there's like over the bandstands is like this and they got, it's like the old like Cowboys stadium, like they had the top open, that little tiny itty bitty piece on the top. It looks like that. It's more.
I never understood that. I never understood that about Cowboys stadium.
This is what they're saying. They're saying like can any roof out there support the 67, 70 inches of snow that gets dumped? That's the problem. There's no roofs that can support it.
Remember that one time in Minneapolis with the Metrodome?
Well, that's because that thing was a freaking tarp. That wasn't a tarp.
That's like the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. I think it's just a tarp that sits on top of it. Like it's
of course that's gonna cave. But if you come on. You're not going to get a dome that's made of, serious material that's going to cave under that.
We've only had a little bit of Sky Dome fall off. We did that about 20 years ago. Little bits fall off. Not too much, just little bits. But, I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Go Bills. So annoyed. Like, so annoying. How does Detroit get it, though? How does Detroit get Ford Field? This beautiful facility everyone was raving about. Bills Mafia was in love with it when they went down. Yeah. Why do they get that? Why does Detroit get nice stuff?
Well, they had Pontiac before that, and that was a dome as well.
The Silver Dome.
Yeah.
Right. The Silver Dome in Pontiac. And that was a dome. Seriously, all bad weather cities should have domes in their stadium. Period. If you put domes, no baseball games would ever get postponed. No football games would ever get Come on. Big dog. Big dog. That ain't no puppy, man. She full grown.
No, and it's what's scary is she's not even full grown yet.
I know she ain't.
That's what's terrifying. Like I was walking her today, and like people were just like moving to the side, and I'm like, literally just a puppy.
But she's just the sweetest thing, isn't she, John?
She's oh yeah, she's great. She's just a puppy. Puppy things like she'll jump up right just like that. Like I hate that, even though I was calling her to jump up, but she's good. She does what she's supposed to do. There was a coyote in the backyard, like right outside the back door here, like yesterday morning. She lost her mind trying to get to the coyote. She was going to tear it apart. It was great.
Now I know how John feels about college football, but I have one question. How the hell did Tennessee give up 63 points to South Carolina? The most points they gave up is the last time they gave up that close to that many points was 1897.
Well, they did lose their quarterback to an ACL.
Still
confirmed today. I don't know. Yeah, they were the fifth-ranked team in the NCAA.
Fifth-ranked team against an unranked team. Yeah. They lost by 25 points.
Yep. Nothing matters right now except
It gave up the most points they've given up since 1897, dude. That's 125 years.
Nothing matters other than that game against that team against up north this week. It's Ohio State.
That's all I have to say about college football.
It's Ohio State and that team up north week. So that's all that matters at this point. If you look at my Twitter profile, all the M's in my Twitter profile have been replaced by big red X's.
I don't get it. Why?
Michigan.
What about it?
Ohio State, Michigan this week.
Oh, that's right.
Is that a big deal?
That's their rivalry.
Yes. That's a huge big deal.
How much are the kids getting paid again?
Not a lick.
How much is the NCAA and all the TVs?
Oh, billions and billions
hey,
and billions.
Ken a Michigan fan?
To quote Carl Sagan, billions and billions.
Isn't Ken a Michigan fan?
Ken is a Michigan fan. Yes.
Go. You guys should be going at it this week. Huh?
Yes, Ken.
Oh no, he won't, because I thought we were going to go at it Bills and Browns today. But
hey, I think Ohio State has a better chance.
Yeah, actually, Ohio State's a better team, Elliot. So that's all good.
They can probably beat the Browns too.
Kills me. You guys are killing me, man.
Yep, it's in the shoe. So let's go. Time for revenge for last year. Go Buckeyes. I'm just saying.
Buckeyes.
So Aaron Judge gets AL MVP, Elliot. You happy with that?
Cheers.
I'm happy that he got it, because if they would have gave it to somebody else, there would have been anarchy in the streets. I mean, you don't break a record that's X amount of years, intact, and then don't get the MVP. I mean, come on, 62 home runs.
Right.
I mean, I know Otani's this two-way phenom.
Yeah.
But 62 home runs outdoes that any day.
Yeah. Brad, I'm going to answer your question directly. Raheem Morris was the head coach for the Buccaneers when they fired John Gruden. He was terrible. He sucked. And the reason why is because he lacked experience. Raheem Morris has now done a stint with the Atlanta Falcons on the defensive side, and now is the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. The man is better now than he was, 10, 15 years ago when he was the head coach of the Buccaneers. He's a totally different coach right now. Now, saying all that, the Rams are kind of bad right now, but that mostly falls on the offensive side of the ball, not on the defense. The defense,
go Bills,
is pretty good.
Go Bills.
I'm sorry, but they gave us.
That's Anthony, John, by the way.
Defense ain't that great, because they gave up 27 points to a New Orleans team that really, really sucks.
Yeah. But Raheem Morris is a better coach now than when he was a head coach at Tampa. He was a favorite of ownership and is a reflection on how bad that ownership is in the Glazers since the old man passed away. And they just went with their buddy Raheem Morris to pick up the pieces of a Gruden, and he was only there for maybe 2 years before he was let go. So I wouldn't take what his stint as Buccaneers head coach I'd take it with a grain of salt, because he was a totally different coach now than he was then. He's a better coach now.
Well, and the Buccaneers weren't that great of a team back then either.
No, they weren't.
And their organization was terrible, and you know what I'm saying? Yep. John Gruden came in and did whatever. I get that. But he got that from Tony Dungy. You know what I'm saying? And but you get coaches that eventually, their first go around, except for guys like Josh McDaniels, they suck in their first go around.
Yep.
There's elements for that, and then they turn around and they're better coaches later.
But McDaniels still isn't a better head coach now than he was when he was Denver.
No, that's why I said he's an exception to that.
He is an exception to that rule. Yes.
Both for Tampa. He sucked when he was the Jets coach, but everybody sucks as a Jets coach.
Hackett's terrible.
Oh, they're awful. He's awful. He's awful. He's been awful. Speaking from experience, he's awful.
Who?
Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, Hackett's terrible. He's a hack. Hackett the hack.
Yeah, absolutely awful, horrible. When he was OC of Buffalo, it was just like watching paint dry. It was just so bad, so bad. Anyway, I don't know. Like this is like Nate Peterman. How do these guys get jobs in the NFL still? Like, someone explain it to me, please. I wish I could be that bad at my job and like suck continuously and still get paid. Like it'd be great.
Well, that just goes to show you the lack of talent available. Once you get past starters, backups are mostly not that good. But you got to keep them and you got to pay them because you got to have an insurance policy behind your starter. I mean, look, how much money did they pay Charlie Whitehurst to carry a clipboard around?
Clipboards.
Yeah, and Denver was in all orange, but they also had the throwback Bronco helmets too. I like those. I like those old school Bronco helmets. I don't like the Broncos.
I like the Cincinnati white helmets with the black stripe.
Those were pretty cool.
Those are cool. I like those. Chicago with the orange helmets and the orange, they look like freaking street cones. So
and you know what? The Saints went old school today too with the mustard pants and the black jerseys. That was pretty cool. Oh, that's old school New Orleans right there.
The deli mustard pants?
Yes, the deli mustard pants. That was old school New Orleans, and it was pretty freaking awesome.
A lot of teams are doing that with the old school.
And the Red Rifle is back. Did you see that touchdown pass he threw late in the game today? Oh my God!
Red Rifle.
That just goes to show you how bad the Rams defense actually is.
Sorry.
If you're claiming, if you're touting that Andy Dalton is back.
That's what you're touting. Andy Dalton is back. Yeah. Hey,
they were just trashing them last week.
I know, right?
We don't have a lot of time left. Did you get a chance to see that Connor McDavid goal last night in the overtime?
No, I did not
Scott,
see it.
I know you're a diehard hockey fan. I know.
Yeah, it's not April yet.
It's NFL season, John. I'm not into hockey.
Ken definitely knows.
When Ron Gallo shows up, that's when I start talking hockey.
Exactly. Yes.
Poor Ron. Ron always throws the hockey content up in the Sports Nerds Facebook and
nobody responds to him.
No one engages. I always try to like it. It's always like Montreal stuff, and I don't care about Montreal. So,
but he knows his shit.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, man. Good week of Thanksgiving games coming up in 4 days.
Yeah.
Detroit and Buffalo.
Buffalo, who doesn't have to travel outside of Detroit this week.
Well, they're back. They're back in Buffalo right now. They just touched down. Yeah. They're flying back, spending the night there, a couple days of practice, and then they'll fly back Wednesday or something.
Then they got Dallas and the Giants.
And then the Patriots and the Vikings.
That's gonna suck. That's gonna just. Is it in New England or is it in?
No, it's in Minnesota.
Oh no, go Mini! Cheering for Minnesota.
I'm actually going to be in the Panhandle. I probably won't even watch the games because my folks don't like sports, so they probably won't even put it on the TV. But
that's right. You're going to be out of town, huh?
I'm going to be out of town Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay.
So actually, starting Wednesday, I'll be out until Saturday. I'm working a half day on Wednesday, and I'm going to be driving up Wednesday morning. So
this is a big week for you guys in the States, man.
It's our Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving weekend. It's a huge.
It's amazing how close it is to Christmas, and you guys get all into this, man.
Yes,
but it's completely separate. Even though it's so close to Christmas, like a month away, it's still completely separate holidays.
You know what though? There's a huge majority of people in this country that actually put up their holiday decorations right after Halloween. They do consider Thanksgiving and Christmas the holidays, and they will put up their Christmas decorations. A lot of people put it up after around November 1st. Most will wait until Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, to put up their decorations. Me, I don't put up decorations. I have cats. They'll destroy my decorations.
So I don't put up decorations because I just don't put up decorations.
Yeah.
Why? So they have to take them down again? That's not happening. Besides,
I have
how
no
can
idea,
I feel
but-
festive about the holidays when it doesn't freaking snow
Yeah,
here?
come say hi.
There ain't no such thing as a white Christmas in Florida.
Yeah,
Come on.
Right. Exactly.
There's 2 seasons here. Summer and hurricane.
Right.
And humid all year long.
Yes,
Exactly.
you are correct.
Summer and hurricane. Those are the
All
only
right.
seasons.
Great show, guys. It's 8:30. Let's get the hell out of here.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all
Happy
those
Thanksgiving to
celebrating.
everybody. Yep.
Peace and love to all your families,
Yep.
friends, and anybody else you care about.
Go Bills.
Go Niners tomorrow night.
Go
Good luck
Niners.
on Thursday, John.
We'll be in Mexico.
I don't need CMC to go off because I'm beating this guy that I'm playing against by like 70 points already. But
Yeah, well, 49ers, please don't drink the water. Thanks.
yeah,
On behalf of
Perfect.
my co-host, Mr. Elliot Big E Lama, Mr. John G. Olson, and Ken Koslow, who's in the chat, we are the Sports Nerds. We're out of here. We will be back next Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Talking
And on
about
behalf of
Thanksgiving games.
And we'll go over the Thanksgiving games, and we'll go over the few games on Sunday that we're going to watch because Thanksgiving takes up all the games. Anyway, see y'all next Sunday. And on that note, we're out. Elliot, please play the outro.
Well, there you have it, Nerd Nation. Another Sunday episode of the Sports Nerd Show in the books, and we are still alive to tell about it. Now, on behalf of our host, Scott, the Sports Nerd, right? And his co-host, John Olson, Ken Koslow, lovable members in the Rat Pack, and yes, me, Big E, the entire pack would once again like to thank you all for participating with us in the best 90 minutes of sports smack talk on the web today. So until next Sunday night, dear nation, we would like to leave you with a quick PSA. Please stay safe. Please practice social distancing. And for heaven's sake, please wear a damn mask. You all just got hit with a pack rant from the Rat Pack. And with that, fellas, we are out.